Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome back to Bariatrics and Beyond, the podcast where we talk about life before, during, and beyond bariatric surgery. So pull up a seat, grab a drink, and a healthy snack because today we have the one and only rooster in the hen's den, our male coordinator, Patrick. How are you, Patrick?
Hello, how's it going?
It is going good. How are you? And where are you?
I am doing well, thank you. I am currently about 45 minutes northeast of Seattle in Washington.
Okay, and when I ask where are you, for those of you who don't know, Patrick is our coordinator who just travels all around America in his RV, and wherever he decides to stop, he's stopping, which is pretty awesome.
I am the pneumatic coordinator, yes.
We love that. So, as I was just saying, you are our only male US coordinator. Can you tell us, what did you do before you worked for EOC, and how did you become a coordinator? Because what you did and what you do now are very opposite. So how did that happen?
Completely different. So for 20 years prior to being a coordinator here, I was an industrial diesel mechanic. Worked on semis, large motorhomes, heavy equipment, locomotives, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, very, very different than being a coordinator. In 2014, I had surgery with Dr. Ortiz, and just kind of became friends with everybody with the company. And yeah, one thing led to another. I was ready for a career change and kind of went along with selling my house in Denver and going on the road. And so this just fit in perfectly with it. And so it allowed me to work remotely.
Yeah, and how lucky are we to be able to work remotely, honestly?
Very, very.
Very lucky. What's your favorite part about the job, Patrick?
Honestly, my favorite part is just helping people.
Yeah.
Even though it was 10 years ago, I had an amazing experience, and I still remember like it was yesterday. And I just want people to be able to have the same experience that I did and have the same life-changing results that I did.
Right. And we're going to go into your weight loss story in a little bit. I just want to get some of the coordinator questions out of the way. But like, when you say you had a life-changing result, you really did. What was your starting weight?
Starting weight was around 420-ish pounds, 410, 420 pounds. Lost about 230-ish pounds in the first year, down to about 165 pounds. Went from a 4 or 5X shirt down to a medium, and then from a 56-inch waist to a 28-inch waist in a year.
That's crazy, Patrick.
Yeah.
That's great. And you've had success long term, but we'll go into that and give us all those tips. But for anybody out there who's thinking about having weight loss surgery, can you explain kind of like what the process is for them, and how because they do get partnered up with a coordinator right away. So how does that, what happens?
Absolutely. So it kind of depends on if you join the Facebook group or if you request information through the website. Either way, you are assigned a coordinator. Once you are assigned a coordinator, you will get a couple of emails from us. The first email contains a link to the online health questionnaire. And then the second email is just kind of a welcome. It has a list, some frequently asked questions, introduce ourselves as the coordinators. It's got our contact information on, of course, our email, our phone numbers, that type of thing.
And so they can email, call, and text you, right?
That is correct. Email, call, text. That is correct.
Perfect.
Yeah. So the important thing about that is if you've reached out for information and you haven't heard from your coordinator, and it's been a day or so, please check your junk or spam folder. Always check your junk or spam folder. Because a lot of times our information does get sent there, but we do email, call, and text you as well. So keep an eye on your missed phone calls, your text messages, your emails. We do reach out.
Right. And so, because we do get a lot of people going, I sent a request in and I haven't heard anything, but within 24 hours, someone has contacted you. So you do have
someone
to check.
has contacted you.
That spam.
You can also, when you're looking through your email, if you don't see it in any of the folders, one thing that I always tell patients that I work with, you can also use your email search function and search our email address. Just search advisortiz.co and any emails that any of us have sent will pop up with that. So that's important as well.
Yeah, that's a really handy tip. And you mentioned you send out a health questionnaire. What is a health questionnaire? What kind of info is on it? Like, what kind of people qualify for weight loss surgery? I mean, all of those questions.
Absolutely. So the questionnaire it's an in-depth questionnaire responding to each patient. Goes into your health history, medications that you're on, surgeries that you have, conditions that you have, conditions that you've had in the past. Basically, what we're looking for, what Dr. Ortiz is looking for. You know, our number one, our primary goal is your health and safety, and so we want to make sure that you don't have any conditions that would cause an elevated risk during surgery. So now, if you do, that's not going to automatically disqualify you from surgery. We might ask for additional information. Dr. Ortiz may ask for a clearance letter, lab results, that type of thing. But trying to get a general idea of your health, of your past health. So there's going to be a bunch of questions on there. Yes and no questions. It's like I said, it's going to ask you about medication. It's going to ask you about previous surgeries. If you've ever seen a cardiologist, that type of thing. Very, very important down at the bottom. There is a section that says if there's anything additional you need to add that Dr. Ortiz, for our surgeons to better assess your health. That is a box you can type into it. If you think there's something that we need to know that Dr. Ortiz needs to know to better assess your health, so you can put stuff in there. But that is the very first step. And so it's very easy. You go into that email, you just click on the link to that questionnaire. Very, very important that you don't copy and paste it, that you click right on that link. Once you click on that link, that will take you directly to the questionnaire. You just fill that out completely. And then once you fill that out, you click submit at the bottom. Once you click submit at the bottom, that gets sent back to us. The coordinator gets sent back to us and we review it for you. One thing is that Dr. Ortiz does give us a list of criteria to be able to pre-approve you. So if you meet certain conditions, then we're actually able to pre-approve you on the spot. Now, also very important, Dr. Ortiz does still look at every single health questionnaire that comes across. Every single one of them is still reviewed. But with that pre-approval, we're actually able to go ahead and get your surgery date scheduled. Begin the process, get the process going for you for scheduling your surgery date. Dr. Ortiz will still look at your questionnaire. He'll come back if he has any questions. If he wants any additional information, he'll let us know. If he does not, then he will just come back with your final approval, and we'll send you the final approval email. With that final approval, that just means there's no additional testing required prior to your arrival in Tijuana for your surgery.
That's excellent. And so how long does, let's just say someone's not pre-approved, but how long does it usually take for Dr. Ortiz to send that final approval?
It just depends on his schedule. So usually it's within just a couple days. It also depends on what the condition is. But typically we have a response from Dr. Ortiz within, I would say, 3 to 4 days, usually pretty quick.
Oh, that's super quick. Because you guys, how many people that live in the US that are dealing with insurance go through the entire process and it takes them like a year just to get get approved or jump through all the hoops, and then for the insurance company to just pull the pin and then you don't get it. So within a few days, you can be approved for surgery. It's insane.
Within a few days, and it's very, very important, because I do have patients ask me this question all the time. They look at the process in the States that can take a year or longer, and then look at our process that takes a few days, and they get kind of concerned about that. But like I said, it's very, very important to remember that your health and safety is our top priority.
Yeah.
And so everything is still being reviewed. It's not any less safe just because it takes less time. It's just because we don't deal with insurance companies. We are able to streamline the process for you and get the process going much, much quicker for you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so approval has come back. They're approved for surgery. They want to schedule a date. How does the picking the date work? Well, how many days do they need to be there? All that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. So once we have your approval, either whether it be pre-approval or your final approval from Dr. Ortiz, or you're going to get an email from your coordinator. And it's going to say just that: congratulations, you've been approved for surgery. It is going to have it's going to list the price, the procedure that you were approved for, and there's going to be some other additional information on there for you. But after that, like you said, the next step is scheduling your surgery date. That part of it's very easy. We have availability as soon as a couple weeks away. You can book a date up to 2 years in advance.
That's cool.
Yeah, which allows, we'll get to that here in a second. But with that scheduling the surgery date, a couple different things. If you know for sure you have a certain date, I want to have surgery on April 20th, whatever the case may be. You can tell your coordinator that. We will let you know if that date's available. If it is available, then we can get you booked on that date. If it's not, we'll reply and let you know that, unfortunately that date's not available, but we have these dates around that date. Are available for that. The other thing, you can also reach out to your coordinator and say, hey, I'm looking for this, and this date, 3 different dates. We'll let you know which one is available. Or, for the patients that I work with, you can reach out and say, hey, I'm looking to have surgery in, September, whatever the case may be. And we can let you know, what's available roughly within that time frame. But things to keep in mind when scheduling your surgery is the length of your pre-op diet. The length of your pre-op diet is based off of your BMI. Most patients, that pre-op diet is 2 weeks. But your coordinator will let you know how long it is. And again, that's based off of your BMI. So we do have to allow for your pre-op diet prior to scheduling. It'll be say that amount of weeks prior to your surgery date. With the actual doctor's schedule itself, we do leave some availability in the schedule, within a couple weeks, just because we know that we have some patients that want to have surgery right away. I just booked somebody this morning that says, when can I get there? Well, just a couple weeks. So,
very cool.
Yeah.
When you know. That was like me. I was like, how long does my pre-op diet go for? And my coordinator said 6 weeks. I was like, what's 6 weeks from today?
Done.
Yep. And I was done. And she's like, well, you better go start your pre-op diet. And I was like, oh, damn. It was like 10 a.m. And I was like, didn't even have a food funeral, So, but it is what it is. All right. So they've secured their date. Now let's talk monies. How do they, there's a deposit that's required. How much is the deposit?
Yes.
How do they pay it? All that.
Exciting. We just started this not too long ago. So for the longest time, our deposit was $300. We actually just changed that just a couple weeks ago. The deposit is now only $100.
$100 to secure a surgery
huge.
date. That is huge and tiny at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, that deposit is non-refundable. However, it's as long as you proceed with your surgery date, that deposit goes toward your full balance. So that's just going to allow you to get your surgery date scheduled sooner, and then start making payments towards your surgery. Now, with talking about the payments, we do offer the layaway plan, the plan that our payment plan that works like layaway. Once you put that, I almost said 300. It's not 300. Yeah, I'm so used to saying 300.
But if they want to put 300, can they put 300?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
You can pay as much as you want up front. If you want to pay the full thing up front, you're more than welcome to.
Okay.
It's just $100 minimum. $100 is the minimum deposit required to reserve the date.
Gotcha.
If you are going to do the payment plan, you just pay that $100 within 5 business days of booking your surgery date. After that, the remaining balance of your surgery is not due until 30 days prior to surgery. So what that means is you can book a surgery date a few months out. You could book it up to 2 years in advance, pay that $100 deposit, and then after that, you can make payments. Now, payments can be in any amount of your choosing. There is no minimum monthly payment. There is no accruing interest on the balance. And so if you want to pay $100 a week, few $100 a month, whatever you want, as long as you make that $100 deposit, and as long as it's paid in full no later than 30 days prior to surgery. That is the important part. As for payment types, we have a number of different options. You can pay online with a credit card through our payment portal. You can pay in person at any Bank of America branch with a cashier's check. You can pay by Zelle. You can pay by wire transfer. And you can also, if you choose, you can bring that final balance with you as a cashier's check when you come for your surgery in Tijuana. Now, If you choose that option, you do have to still pay the deposit. You do, of course, pay the deposit, and then the picture of that check does have to be sent to us by your payment deadline. But some patients do like that option as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, talking about payment options, I get this question asked all day, every day on TikTok. I don't know I kind of feel like I know the official answer, but I'm not sure. So can you let us know? And this is the question. Do you guys take care credit?
So it's a tricky question. If there's a number of different care credit programs, care credits it can be tricky. So if your care credit card has a Visa or MasterCard symbol on it, possibly, you would still have to reach out to care credit to find out for sure. The care credit card has to have a Visa or MasterCard symbol and an expiration date on it. So it just depends.
Okay.
There's a few different types of care credit programs. Some of them are just cards that, can only be used for approved care credit places. They don't, allow usage everywhere. Some of them do. I've actually had a couple patients that have had luck. They had care credit programs, didn't have a card that worked, but they were actually able to reach out to care credit and get a disbursement sent to them in the form of a check. And so they got the check sent to them. They deposited the check and then paid us otherwise. That's also a possibility as well.
Awesome.
The main takeaway from that is that they need to reach out to care credit to find out for sure.
Perfect. Because that's how I answer it on TikTok. You only get a certain amount of characters. So I'm like, well, we'll take it if they'll pay us. It's something you have to check with care credit. Okay, cool.
Yep. They got to reach out to them.
Perfect. All right. So they're approved. They got their surgery date booked. They've got their deposit down. You give them the PreOp diet. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. So we let you know what your starting date for your PreOp diet. Again, that's based on your BMI. We also let you know the starting date for your clear liquid diet. Clear liquid diet's always going to start, most surgeries is going to start 3 days or 72 hours prior to surgery. So it's 3 days prior, including your surgery date. But we give you all that information. The easiest way to find the information, all the PreOp diet information is on the website. So everything is listed on the website, everything about the PreOp diet, everything you would want to know about PreOp, everything from vitamins to, even the stuff what to pack. It's all on the website. So now keep in mind, I'm basing this off emails that I send. So when I book a patient, I say, this is the PreOp PreOp diet start date. This is the clear liquid start date. Here are links to the website for your, to click on that so you can go and see where the information for the PreOp diet. Another very, very, very helpful thing for the PreOp diet. If you're on if you're on our Facebook group, our moderator, Tracy Thompson. Tracy is amazing.
She is amazing.
Yes, I love Tracy. She's the best. She up at the top of their feature posts, at the top of the page, at the top of the Facebook group, there are some PreOp diets posts that she's made. They go over everything from sauces, general information about the PreOp diet, the drinks that you can have for both PreOp and for clear liquid.
The flavor,
every aspect, even down like the spices and the water additives and everything that you can have. The biggest thing I've seen for PreOp diet is that people try to overcomplicate. It really isn't bad. 6 ounces of lean protein for females, 8 ounces of lean protein for males, up to 3 protein shakes, and unlimited non-starchy vegetables. It's not super complicated, but you do have to think about outside the box a little bit sometimes. One thing that I tell patients is, the thing that's going to save you are those non-starchy vegetables. While you can't use oil on PreOp diet, you can use a little bit of 0-calorie cooking spray. And then some of those vegetables like carrots, like jicama, like cauliflower. You can use a little bit of 0-calorie cooking spray, and then you can use any spice that you would like. Spice, not seasoning mix, but spice. You can put that on there and then pop it in the air fryer, and they're great. And you can have as much of that as you want. That's the non-starchy vegetables are unlimited. So So it's little things like that that are going to help you get to the pre-op diet.
And through life, let's be honest. I
Yeah.
feel like an air fryer, if you do not own an air fryer, it is a must. I reckon I could just live without a kitchen as long as I had an air fryer. You can cook
Yep.
anything in those suckers and they taste good.
Even in the RV, where my
Yeah.
space is very, very limited. I still have an air fryer.
Yep.
I actually have the Instant Pot version, Instant Pot air fryer. So it's an
Nice.
Instant Pot and an air fryer all in one. So
You
a
wouldn't need
lack
a
of space
kitchen.
is not an excuse not to have them. What's that?
I said you wouldn't even need a kitchen
No,
at that
it's
point. You
I
don't need a
use that
stovetop or
thing.
an oven.
I use the Instant Pot / air fryer for a majority of my cooking.
Okay.
Once in a while, I use the stove or the oven, but a majority of it is the Instant Pot and the air fryer.
All right. Well, that's a good segue because I want to talk to you about your weight loss journey, and you have been so successful and for so long because, I feel like, especially now day and age, the bariatric surgery has become very popular within the last couple of years. So we're getting all these brand new influencers that are like, follow me. I know everything about weight loss surgery. I'm a bariatric coach. And they're like 1 year post-op.
Yeah.
But you are a true vet. Like you're 10 years post-op and you have maintained a huge weight loss. So talk us through your weight loss journey from the start. Were you always overweight? Tell us your story.
Of course. So yeah, 10, almost 11 years.
Jeez.
Well, 10 and a half. But yeah, May 27th of 2014 was my surgery date, with Dr. Ortiz. So like I said, I was a diesel mechanic. I was always a bigger guy, even in the military. I was always on the required, fitness program because I was always bigger than I was supposed to be. I moved to Alaska for 7 years, and wintertime in Alaska, you hibernate, you watch movies, and you eat, and that's really when I started to pack my weight on.
Seasonal depression is a thing, huh?
It is
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Even deal with it a little bit up here in Washington. It's not quite as bad as Alaska, but
Right.
a little bit. But anyway, that's when I started to pack my weight on, and then it's just one of those things that I think a lot of patients experience this. You don't really see it on yourself until you start seeing yourself in pictures. And then you're like, oh my God, like what happened to me? And so I knew that I had to make a change. In the interim, I'd moved to Austin, Texas in 2012. And had a bunch of friends down there. I actually had a really good friend that had gastric bypass with a surgeon there in Texas. And she was very kind about it. She wasn't like, hey, you need surgery, but she talked to me a little bit about it, and I had brought it up as well. Actually made an appointment with her surgeon to go talk to him. And then, long story short, found out that my insurance at the time wouldn't cover it, and so I was looking at about, with that particular surgeon. Now this is in 2014, so 10 years ago. I was looking at about $35,000 out of pocket, which wasn't going to happen. Couldn't do it. But I knew that I needed the surgery, and I was pretty down about it. Yeah, my mom hates when I tell this story, but I was at the point where I was done. I honestly didn't want to live anymore. I was, I woke up every morning. I didn't have to get out of bed, and my back hurt, my knees hurt, my joints hurt, everything just hurt, and I was done. I was just done.
Really?
I was 34 years old at the time, and I had pretty much come to terms with the fact that I wasn't going to see my 40th birthday. Now, I was, aside for being morbidly obese, I was relatively healthy, didn't have heart problems, I was pre-diabetic, but I was on my way. I was on a path, on a bad path, very, very bad path. My mom, who was a labor and delivery nurse and an ER nurse for 35 years, actually is the one that found Dr. Ortiz.
Really?
Yeah. She was a nurse here in the States for 35 years, and she's the one that found Dr. Ortiz.
Was it like one of her patients or someone had mentioned it, or how did she find
No,
him?
she just She just found she did the little search for Mexico weight loss surgery. I think she'd heard through some of her friends, not particular about Dr. Ortiz, but about surgery in Mexico,
Yeah.
and basically just looked up best bariatric surgeon in Mexico, and Dr. Ortiz popped up.
Yeah.
And she reached out, unbeknownst to me. She didn't tell me, but she reached out. Yeah, oh yeah. I will admit that when she first told me that she was talking to these people, I was on the same the same
The
thing as a lot
Mexico
of
train.
patients. I was like, absolutely not. I'm not
Yeah.
going to Mexico for surgery. Are you out of your mind? I'm not doing it. But mother being mother, begged me to look at it because she was as desperate as I was for me to lose weight. And actually, Janice was my coordinator. Janice, one of our my coordinator. Yeah. So my mom gave me the website and gave me Janice's phone number and begged me to call and talk to her. And I did, and had a very good conversation with Janice. And the rest is history. I think that was April of 2014, March or April, and then in May, I was May 27th and down habit surgery. Yeah, hard to believe it was almost 11 years ago. So I lost that
wild
235-ish pounds in the first year. Now, I got down to 160 pounds and I'm 6'1". So, being 160 pounds, that was a little skinny. But you will notice that when you have bariatric surgery, whether it be sleeve and bypass or any of them, that you will kind of do the same thing. Most patients do the same thing. You start at your starting weight, you drop down to a lower weight, and then you come back up a little bit. So I bottomed out around 160, and then I came back up to about 185.
So, and that's where you're comfy at.
Yeah, that's where I'm comfy at.
Yeah.
So I still fluctuate 185 to 200. I'm comfortable in that range anywhere, really.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing, because we are so far post-op, you do kind of realize, where your body it operates its best at now. Because again, I got down to my lowest weight, didn't look my best, didn't feel my best. But being overweight your whole life, you always chase that lower number. So I think we also have to kind of get in that mind frame of like the lowest number isn't the best, isn't the healthiest number, isn't, and then you think, oh, I'm regaining, I'm slipping into old habits, but you're really not. It's just your body is more comfortable, at a more of a, whatever's healthy for you, like more of a stable weight. And I think it is good to give yourself a little bit of, like you said, you go from 185 to 200 or whatever. I think it is like reasonable and actually like good for your mindset as well to give yourself, I think, like a 20-pound or so window, because we are going to fluctuate. There's so many other things that go into the number on the scale. It's not like you're regaining fat. You know what I mean? There's just so many other factors that go into that
weight
number.
Is going to fluctuate.
It is. It's just life. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, it's always going to fluctuate. So really don't focus too much on the scale. Give yourself grace, but it is more so of like maintaining and sustaining healthier habits and just an overhaul on your lifestyle, really, isn't it?
It is. And I tell patients all the time, we all focus on that goal weight number, right? And yes, don't get me wrong. It's important to have goals.
Yeah.
However, you have to keep in mind that our body knows where it needs to be.
Yep.
And so, my goal weight, I was 420-ish pounds. I don't even remember at this point because it was so long ago. And I think I'd pretty much stopped getting on the scale because I didn't want to see it.
Well, it probably stopped weighing you after 400 and something. You know what I mean? I think they maxed out at like 410 or something like that. Most of them.
But my goal weight was 200. So I got to 200. I was like, okay, cool. I'm done losing weight. No.
Yeah.
Your body knows where it needs to be. And that's what I tell patients. When they have the sleeve, Dr. Ortiz, when he performs the sleeve surgery, and this is obviously for patients that have the sleeve. When Dr. Ortiz performs the sleeve procedure, the tool that he uses is called a bougie. And the bougie is easiest way to think of it is a gauge that gauges the size of the stomach. It is the same bougie for every patient, so 32F, same one. So the size of the stomach is made the same. And so, what that equates to is that you're going to lose a percentage of your excess body weight. So your body knows where it needs to be. You just have to properly fuel it. It's like any other machine. It's like your car. If you don't change the oil, if you don't put good fuel in your car, it's not going to run right. Your body is no different. If you don't feed the proper fuel, if you don't take care of it, it's not going to run right. So it's the same principle.
Yeah. So you lost a lot in a very short amount of time. That's a lot of weight to lose in 1 year. Now, I know that men lose it faster. You guys suck. It's not fair. But what did you what were the main things you changed early on in your journey to help you lose that weight?
Absolutely. So there was 4 things that I focused on. First, keeping my diet as all natural as possible.
Mm.
High protein, low carb, low sugar, and then of course small meals. Now I eat. I still stick pretty close to that now. It's a variation of that, but it's very, very close to that. There at the beginning, I was eating 8 to 10 small meals a day, but they were all high protein, low carb, low sugar, and as all natural as possible. So I stayed as far away from artificial sweeteners as I could. If I was obviously limited, things like sugar and butter and fat and that type of thing, the non-healthy fats, but it stayed as far away from the stuff that said diet or light or that kind of stuff. I would stick to the natural stuff, the regular stuff, but just obviously in moderation. And that's the big thing. Artificial sweeteners are so bad for us, and that's why when you come to Mexico for surgery, Dr. Kaleha, our nutritionist, will talk to you more about that. But on the PreOp diet, there are no artificial sweeteners allowed on the PreOp diet at all.
And they just trigger cravings. They just make you want more and more sugar. And so if you can get rid of them early on in the piece, I think that is definitely a recipe for success.
They trigger cravings. There's actually been some studies past few years that have shown that over time, artificial sweeteners actually make you gain weight. Because when we ingest those sweeteners, your body tries to attach to those like it should, but it can't. So what does it do with the free insulin in your body? It stores it as fat. So there's been some studies that have shown it's not all of it's cracked up to be. Now I'm not saying to go out and load up on sugar because that's not good for you either.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of options out there. Like on the PreOp diet, we do allow stevia and pure. It's important. It's pure monk fruit sweetener. No erythritol. Those are allowed on the PreOp diet because they are natural sweeteners. They're naturally derived sweeteners.
Yeah.
Not artificial. So
nice. And then, so how has your life changed since losing the weight?
Drastic.
Yeah.
So
in more than just like the physical, huh? It's like it's all around changed. Yeah. So tell me about
all
it.
around. It's not just, the physical obviously is a big part of it. Being able to, not having, what's the best way? Not just the physical side of it, like even like the way that people treat you, the mental side of it. This is well as walking onto an airplane and being the biggest person on the plane, people all look like, oh my God, person's not going to sit
next to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And to walk into a space and go, holy crap, nobody's paying attention. Like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
That type of thing. To even, my biggest non-scale victory was being able to ride roller coasters again. At 6'1" and 420 pounds, you're not getting on
no way. You ain't fitting.
You're not fitting in anything.
No.
And so I would still go to the theme parks with my friends, but it's like, okay, I'll be out here waiting for you. I can't get on the road. So anyway, after losing that, actually being able to ride roller coasters again.
Do you remember the first time you went to a theme park after losing weight? What was it?
I do. It was actually Busch Gardens in Tampa. Which is close to where I grew up in Clearwater. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna say that I cried, but I did.
Did ya? Like did you really?
Oh
Like
yeah.
when you got on the roller coaster, you cried?
Yeah. I mean, it was
Mm.
just, I was so happy to be able to do stuff that I loved
Mm.
again.
Yeah.
And things like, back to getting on the plane, like not having to ask for a seatbelt extender, just little stuff like that, or, going to a restaurant and not having people stare at you because you're ordering food, thinking, really, should he be ordering that? Like,
Yeah. And
it's,
praying you don't get sat in a booth. You're like, please don't be a booth. Please
yeah,
don't be a booth because I ain't fitting, Yeah.
exactly. Those are the big things. It's just, but more than that was the health.
Mm.
Um, Being able to do the things that I loved,
Mm.
um, you know, being able to work efficiently again, not having the sore back, not having the sore ankles, the sore hips, sore everything when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
One thing that kind of sticks out, before I had surgery, my parents bought me a Tempur-Pedic bed that I ruined because I was 420 pounds, and actually broke the Tempur-Pedic bed because it was indented in it.
Right.
It broke it.
Wow.
Which, yeah, like looking back now, it's just like, oh my goodness. But yeah, it's little things like that just make all the difference. But getting my health back.
I'll tell you a little secret one time. And Mum, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. When I went home to Australia, I was at my heaviest. I broke the toilet. I broke the toilet seat. I was mortified. Have you broken a toilet seat too?
I did at my aunt and uncle's lake house cabin, which, being a lake house is like an hour from the closest town, and I was thankfully using the bathroom in the basement and sat down and crack, broke the toilet seat. I was absolutely, like you said, I was absolutely mortified.
Yeah.
And like almost, I mean, at this point I was 33 years old, I think, somewhere around there. But
Yeah.
having to go upstairs and tell my mom, like, I don't know what to do. I just broke the toilet seat. Like,
Seriously.
yeah, just
I
mortifying.
sat in the toilet and then I'm like, I don't want to come out. I'm not going to tell them that I broke it. This is so like I've never been so embarrassed. I didn't say anything. I didn't say it was me. I just denied. Like I don't know if they noticed it because it was like a hairline, not a hairline, but like it was a crack in the actual seat, like. And so, like looking at it, you couldn't see it, but if you sat on it a certain way, it'll pinch your skin. So I don't know if they ever figured it out. But but Mom, if you did figure it out, and
Sorry.
if your butt's getting pinched, that I broke that toilet seat a few years ago, so I apologize. Let me know. I'll PayPal you some money to get it fixed. But I was just too embarrassed, and even though it's my family, I was that embarrassed. I've never been that embarrassed to like just hide, and I just hid it. I never told anyone till this day. So yeah, there we go. That's crazy. So I can't believe you broke a toilet seat too. I want to know how many other people out there have broke toilet seats. I just feel like we suffer so many things in silence and we don't say anything. And then when something like that happens and you're like, yeah, I have to. I'm like, oh, I'm not alone,
Not just me. Thank
It's
goodness.
not just me, honestly. So, okay, now you work for EOC. We are very lucky. We're very lucky in more ways than one because our job is we literally get to change people's lives. And I know that sounds kind of like cheesy or cliche, but like it really is. How many people, how many patients do you have a month? And if it wasn't for you walking them through the process, like they wouldn't be doing this. And then I'm sure you get, you're very active in the Facebook support page as well. So you see your patients and you see their transformations. Like it's so proud to like know that like you were part of that, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Very lucky. And then, but on, that side of things, we're very lucky, but we're also very lucky because we do get to work remotely. So you're living a dream, which is traveling around the country. But we also go on trips as well as groups because we do work remotely. We don't get to see each other. We're not in an office building every day, but we still all talk every day. And I honestly class you guys as some of my closest friends, even though, we're co-workers, but I feel like you guys are like my closest friends.
Absolutely.
What's been your favorite memory like with EOC and the trips that we do and all the get-togethers that we have?
Oh God, there's been so many.
Okay, give me top 3. I'll give you 3.
I would say number 1 would have been last year for Vegas.
Oh, the Vegas.
Halloween. 15 of us stomping down the strip in inflatable costumes. That was pretty great.
That was so good. We all had inflatable costumes. But talk about the costume the night before, Patrick.
Oh. Yeah. So as everybody knows, Kayla used to, well, maybe not everybody knows, but Kayla used to do, or still does, design. And so is it costume design or is it
costume design? I cosplay as well.
Outfit.
Yeah. Dress ups.
So we did me as oh my God, from The Hangover. Oh my God.
Zach Galifianakis. I don't know his character's name. Is it Zach Galifianakis?
I can't remember. I should know this. Oh my God. But yeah. Like
the Hangover guy.
Yeah, the Hangover guy with the baby and the wig and the 70s. I had like the cat rocket ship shirt and
it was epic.
The tight slacks. It was pretty great. But yeah, got quite. I will say that was like, thank you 100% to you and Nicole because you guys did all the planning and the footwork for that, and it came out flawlessly.
It was perfect. He says we're all in Vegas, and I go, Patrick, what are you wearing on Halloween for the Halloween party? He's like, I'm not wearing a costume, and I'm like, the hell you ain't. Do you know who we are? Like,
Kayla
no,
wouldn't let that happen.
I won't let anybody not wear a no. You have to come in a costume. So I said, he's got the beard, and I was like, you should be the Hangover guy. And one of my favorite things to do is just thrifting. And I went thrift shopping, and I think I found you the baby, and I got like, it was like the coolest thing. And then you were loving it. Come on, tell me, you did not play into that character.
It was getting us a lot of attention, that's for sure.
It was. By the end of the night, Patrick had such a big night. I called it quits, but you kept partying with Nicole.
Oh,
and I think there's a photo of you by the end of it. You were using the baby as like a headrest. He was like on the way home, like head asleep. Yeah. So that was your favorite?
That was at 9:00 the next morning on the Uber on the way back to the hotel. So it was.
That's what happens when you hang out with Nicole, you guys. She's a bad influence.
Whoa. She's a bad influence.
You got 2 more. What are the others? There's been so many. We've had so many good.
There's been so many. I would just have to say, I can't even pick one of the cruises. Yeah. There's been some cruises we've gone on. Those, and then I really can't pick 2 more. I mean, it's hard to say which ones, but just every time we get together, it's so much fun.
True. So. One of the most recent ones, and I had a lot of fun with you, was at the 5-year anniversary in the tent.
Yeah.
You were the tent buddy. You came out. You're like, I'll go camp with Kayla and Patrick. Patrick was the MVP of that tent that night. But anyhow, we're going to wrap it up, Patrick. Do you have any words of advice, anything you want to say to people out there looking to have weight loss surgery? What would you say?
Just don't wait. If you look on the Facebook page, if you were to take a poll of the patients that are there and say, did you have any regrets? The one thing that you're going to see is that people, they regretted waiting so long.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. I spent far too many years being overweight and unhappy. I wish that I'd done it years before that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I did it when I did. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to your coordinator. That's what we're here for. Don't think that you're going to ask us any stupid questions. There's no such thing as a stupid question, or, just let us know. That's what we're here for. We're here to answer every question you have. I would personally rather have you asking 10 questions than, be unsure about something with the process.
Yeah. Because what you guys got to remember too is we were the patients at one point, and we had those stupid questions as well. Stupid questions, they're not stupid. So everyone's been there. So don't ever feel like you're a burden. Yeah, exactly.
The last thing I'll say is that, being nervous is part of the process.
Yeah.
Don't let being nervous, stop you from proceeding with it. Again, all the patients that I work with, I tell them being nervous is part of the process. If you get to that point and you feel, you're too nervous about it, don't focus on the surgery itself. Our surgeons have performed over 50,000 surgeries combined. They know what they're doing. Focus on the end goal, why you're doing it. Kids, grandkids, spouse, whoever the case may be. Focus on why you're wanting the surgery, not the actual surgery itself.
Yep, I love that. That's fantastic advice. Well, cheers, Patrick.
Cheers.
Until I'll see you very soon for the EOC reunion. So cheers, and here's to making more memories.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Thanks, you guys. See you next week on Bariatrics and Beyond.